There's nothing worse than spending hours of time or money invested into your social media presence, creating content, putting new content out there, to have no idea what kind of impact it's actually making on the business and the revenue that's coming into the business. Well, in this video, I'm going to dive into exactly how you can start tracking your return on investment and the revenue that you are generating from the content you're putting out on social media, whether it be paid or organic. So the first thing you're going to want to do is dive into your Google Analytics account. So you can find that at analytics.google.com. Once you're in here, you're going to want to go to the acquisition tab and then click on social, and then go to, we can start with the overview tab. So the overview page will give you an idea of your top performing social media traffic sources. So you'll be able to filter the date by the top here. You can then also see ultimately which social media network is driving the most amount of visits and traffic to your website. If we want to get a layer deeper, we can actually go into conversions here. Now it's important to note, unless you have an e-commerce store, you may need to set up some goals within Google Analytics to be able to actually track things like leads. But if you do run an e-commerce store, you should have conversion tracking set up automatically, at which point you'll be able to see exactly how many conversions you've had within a certain time window on your website from particular social media channels, and exactly how much revenue that equates to, so the full conversion value of those conversions. Another thing we can actually do here is if we click back on the acquisition tab and then go to all traffic and source/medium, and then one of the things we can actually do here is to easily identify our top performing traffic sources and to see just how much revenue we have made from each particular channel. And again, we can filter this by different date ranges. So you'll see here, organic traffic from Google has resulted in a 3.6% conversion rate and actually given us £1,146 in revenue over the past 7 days. You also have direct traffic, which is where somebody has typed your web address into the window. So it may be that they have seen an advert, or they've heard a podcast interview, or they just know your brand by name. These are people that are typing in your website directly. One other thing to mention here is if you notice a particularly high bounce rate from a certain platform, it may indicate that the posts or the content, the awareness, top of the funnel content you are putting out on those platforms maybe isn't resonating. So maybe there is a disconnect between the content itself and the page that people land on when they get to your website. So really try to make sure the content you're putting out there is actually relevant to the page they are being directed to on your website. So if you see a high bounce rate, that may well be what it is. But this just gives you a really top level overview to see what your highest performing traffic sources, channels, social media platforms are, so you can really start focusing in on those areas and know where you need to make some changes. And most importantly, if you're paying someone or you're spending time doing social media yourself, you can get a real idea as to the returns that you are getting from those social media efforts. Now, another quick thing to mention here, if you're not an e-commerce business, maybe you're a service-based business, so your primary source is through getting leads initially, what you can do is actually set up goals and then track those goals as the conversions within your Google Analytics. Now, the way you'll do that is by just clicking on the admin button at the bottom left of your Google Analytics screen. You then go to the goals tab. You'll then want to create a new goal. We're then going to scroll down to custom. We'll enter a name for this goal. So what is the conversion action you would want people to take? So it might be submitted a form, or became a lead, for example. So let's say you have a lead magnet on your website where people enter their name and email address. What you would then want to do is say the type destination, you would then put in the URL of the thank you page that people land on. So let's say, for example, your website is the londonaccountancyfirm.com. You may then have a registration form, which is something like the londonaccountancyfirm.com/signup. You would then want to have a thank you page people land on after they have signed up and submitted their info. So it might be the londonaccountancyfirm.com/thank you. and that's after somebody has become a lead. And preferably this is going to be a page that people can't come to unless they have filled out a form. So what you then do is you'll just type in the URL of that page in here and set that up as a goal. And what you'll then be able to do is go back to those traffic sources and you'll be able to filter this down by the particular goals that you've set. It's also worth noting here that you can filter this by multiple different goals. So if you have different stages of the customer journey, so maybe people sign up for free initially, maybe you then have a paid kind of entry level product which you can set a value to, so you can actually start tracking the value as well. With this instance here, we haven't got a value assigned to this conversion goal, but if you roughly know the amount of leads you're converting to sales, you can start to work out the average numbers and plugging that in to start giving you a much clearer picture, again, of the returns from your marketing and social media efforts. We actually recently published a blog on our website that details step by step how to go through this process, configure your goals, and get all of this attribution tracking set up. So if you're running any kind of paid marketing campaigns or even just spending time running adverts or running content on the internet and you want to track the return on your investment, go check this article out. I'll put the link in the comments to this video below.